The world was quiet in a way it had never been before. It was not the quiet of peace. It was the quiet that comes after something important breaks. People on Earth felt that something had ended inside them. They were tired. They were scared. And most of all, they were sure that no help was coming anymore. The alien army had taken almost every city, every sky, every hope. Humanity was not fighting to win now. Humanity was only fighting to survive one more day. A small group of survivors hid inside the ruins of an old train station. The walls were broken. The windows were shattered. Dust floated in the air with every small movement. The group had been running for 3 days without food. 2 children were shaking with fear. An old man tried to calm them, but he had nothing to say. He looked at the dark sky and whispered that the world had never felt so heavy. Among the survivors was a young woman named Lyra. She had once been a simple college student. Now she was holding a metal pipe like a weapon. Her clothes were torn. Her eyes had lost their shine. But she still stood near the entrance, watching, waiting, hoping for something. She refused to give up even if everything around her told her to stop. From far away, they heard the strange alien machines moving. They sounded like metal giants walking across the earth. Every step made the ground shake. The children cried softly. Lyra told them to stay quiet. She did not know if they would live until morning. The alien army spread across the world with no mercy. Their ships were in the sky like black blades. Their soldiers did not feel fear or pity. They destroyed everything they touched. People said that even the bravest soldiers of Earth fell before them. Every resistance group had been crushed. Every nation had fallen silent. Even the leaders who promised hope were now gone. The survivors in the train station felt like the last humans left on the planet. Lyra looked at them and felt her heart break. She wished she could say something brave. She wished she could promise that they would survive. But she could not lie. She could only speak the truth inside her heart. And the truth was simple. They had lost hope. Outside, the sky turned a deeper shade of red. It was not the sunset. It was the smoke from cities burning across the horizon. The air smelled like ash and metal. A low, heavy rumble echoed from the clouds. Lyra frowned. It was not the sound of alien ships. It was something else. Something older. Something stronger. The survivors looked at each other. The old man said he had never heard a sound like that before. Lyra stepped out of the ruined station for a moment, ignoring the danger. The cold wind hit her face. She stared at the sky with wide, confused eyes. For the first time in weeks, the clouds moved in a strange way. They twisted. They trembled. A faint light flickered behind them. Not red like the fires of war. Not blue like the alien ships. It was a white light, sharp and bright, cutting through the dark smoke. Lyra felt her heart beat faster. She whispered to herself that maybe she was imagining it. Maybe fear was making her see things. But the light grew stronger. The sound grew louder. The clouds shook violently, as if something massive was breaking through them. The old man joined her and looked up. His mouth opened slightly. His hands began to shake. He was not scared. He was not confused. He was remembering something. Something from old stories that people used to tell before the war. He whispered 5 words that made Lyra freeze. They once promised to return. Before she could ask what he meant, the sky exploded with light. A giant shadow pushed through the clouds. A shockwave hit the ground, forcing everyone back inside the station. The children screamed. Dust fell from the ceiling. And for the first time since the war began, the fear in Lyra's heart changed into something else, a feeling she had forgotten long ago. Wonder. Because whatever was falling from the sky was not alien, and it was not weak. It felt human. Deep beneath the ground, far away from broken cities and burning skies, a hidden bunker still survived. It was one of the last secret human research stations, built long ago for a day no one wanted to see. Inside it, the air was cold, the lights were dim, and the scientists worked with tired faces. They knew the world above was falling apart. They knew the alien army controlled everything. Yet they kept working because of one hope, a hope so small that they barely spoke it out loud. Dr. Cade, the oldest scientist in the bunker, watched a giant screen full of static. His hands shook as he adjusted the controls. He had not slept in 2 days. His hair was gray and messy. His voice cracked when he spoke. He told the team to stay focused because they were close, very close to unlocking the strange signal they had detected in the sky. Most people believed no help would ever come. But the strange signal made Dr. Cade believe that maybe, just maybe, someone was still out there. A young technician named Rin rushed into the room, breathing hard. She said the signal was growing stronger. It was not alien. It was not coming from Earth. It was coming from deep space, from somewhere humans had once explored generations ago. Dr. Cade felt his heart pound. He ordered everyone to record everything. The machines hummed. The screen flickered. Lines of strange code began to appear. Rin's eyes widened as the code slowly rearranged itself into human language. One single line of text showed up on the screen. Message so old, yet so powerful, that the entire room fell silent. "Hold on, we are coming." The words glowed on the screen like fire in darkness. Rin gasped. Another scientist covered his mouth in shock. Dr. Cade grabbed the table to steady himself. This message was from the past, from the greatest human soldiers ever created, from the Lost Battalions, a group of elite warriors sent into deep space hundreds of years ago, never seen again, believed dead. Their mission had been simple: protect humanity from threats that might one day rise in the stars. But they had vanished, without a trace. Yet now, their message had reached Earth at the moment humans needed them. Dr. Cade replayed the message again and again. The tone was calm, strong, confident. It was a voice that did not fear anything. The opposite of the fear that now filled Earth. Rin asked how it was possible. If the Lost Battalions were alive, why were they silent for so long? Why return now? Dr. Cade said he did not know, but he knew one thing clearly. If they said they were coming, then they were coming. Suddenly the lights in the bunker flickered. The ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. At first, they thought it was the aliens attacking again. Everyone grabbed the nearest wall and braced themselves. But then the power surged. The screens glowed brighter than before. A new signal came through, far stronger than the first. Rin shouted that the signal was not a message, it was a location. A point in the sky where something massive was entering Earth's atmosphere. The scientists looked at the map. Their eyes widened. Something enormous was approaching. Something bigger than any alien ship. Something that came with power so strong that even the alien frequencies were breaking. The bunker alarm went off. Not because of danger, but because something unknown was moving through the sky with impossible speed. Rin whispered that this was not alien, it was human. But not any human they had known. Above ground, in the destroyed world, Lyra and the survivors heard the same booming sound. The clouds shimmered. The light grew brighter. Something was breaking through the sky with force that shook the Earth. In the bunker, Dr. Cade stared at the final decoded message that appeared on the screen. It was short, it was clear, and it filled the room with a feeling they had not felt in months. Earth, do not fall. The moment those words appeared, the bunker's systems overloaded. Sparks flew. Screens shattered. But the message stayed burned into Dr. Cade's mind. The Lost Battalions were not a myth. They were real. And they were almost here. Above, the sky roared like a beast waking up. Every alien ship turned. Every sensor screamed, because something ancient and human was coming home. And the galaxy was about to remember why humans were feared. The sky over Earth had been dark for so long that people forgot what real light looked like. Clouds of smoke covered everything. Alien warships sat above cities like hungry shadows. No one on Earth expected anything good to come from the sky ever again. But on this day, the sky began to move. Lyra stepped out of the broken train station, drawn by the strange trembling in the air. She shielded her eyes as a bright white light slipped through the smoke. It was not like the alien ships. Their light was sharp and cold. This one was warm, fierce, alive. The other survivors gathered behind her, whispering in fear. The old man stared without blinking. Even the children stopped crying. The world held its breath. Then the sound came. A deep roaring sound that seemed to come from every direction at once. It shook the ground. It shook the sky. It shook the hearts of everyone still alive. Lyra grabbed the edge of a broken pillar to keep herself steady. Dust rose around them. Birds that had been hiding suddenly flew away in panic. Something massive was forcing its way down from the heavens. Above the burning clouds, the alien army reacted fast. Their ships moved like insects disturbed. Red lights flashed across their dark hulls. Command signals echoed through their network. For the first time since the invasion began, they sounded afraid. Alien commanders barked orders. Fighters flew upward in tight formation, ready to fire. But the light kept growing, swallowing the sky. A crack of thunder exploded overhead. The clouds split open. A giant tear of pure white energy ripped through the dark. Lyra gasped as the sky itself seemed to break apart. She felt heat on her face, not from fire, but from power, raw human power. From within the light, shapes appeared. Long, dark shapes. Metal. Colossal. Alive with energy. Ships. Human ships. Not old Earth ships. Not anything she had ever seen. These ships were different. Silent but powerful. Elegant but terrifying. Almost like living steel. The first ship descended slowly, pushing aside clouds like waves. Its hull was marked with old human symbols no one had seen in centuries. Engines glowed blue and white, brighter than the fires destroying the world. The alien fleet opened fire. Red beams shot across the sky. Explosions rang out, but the human ship did not move. It did not dodge. It simply absorbed the attack like the beams were raindrops. Then, with a single burst of white light, it answered. A beam of pure energy shot from its underside. It hit an alien destroyer. 1 second the ship existed. The next second it did not. It vanished into white ash. The survivors cried out in shock. The aliens screamed in fear. Lyra stared at the sky with wide eyes. She could not believe what she was seeing. As the human ship descended lower, she noticed something written along its metal surface. Letters faded by time but still clear. Battalion Omega Earthguard. More ships followed behind it. 10, 20, a whole fleet. They fell from the sky like burning meteors, each one leaving a trail of white fire across the air. Each one hit the battlefield with massive shockwaves. Windows shattered, dust storms rose. The earth trembled like a living creature waking from a nightmare. Alien forces panicked. Their formations broke. Their communication collapsed. No one had ever made them retreat before. Inside the bunker, Dr. Cade watched live feeds from damaged satellites. His hands covered his mouth. Tears filled his eyes. He whispered the same words again and again. They came back. They really came back. On the ground, Lyra stepped forward. Her legs felt weak, but her heart felt stronger than it had in months. She watched as the first human ship opened its lower gates. White mist poured out. Heavy footsteps echoed. Something large moved inside. Something wearing armor that glowed with blue lines. Something walking like a storm-given form. A tall figure stepped out onto the battlefield. A human. But not like any human Lyra had ever seen. He stood nearly 7 feet tall, wrapped in ancient war armor. His helmet reflected the burning sky. His voice echoed across the ruined city when he spoke, a voice filled with strength. A voice from forgotten legends. Earth still lives, so we fight. The world fell silent. Then the last warriors charged. Into battle. And hope that had died long ago, began to rise again. Asterisk. The first warrior stepped onto the battlefield like a living mountain. His armor glowed with blue energy veins that pulsed like a heartbeat. Every step he took sent small vibrations through the cracked earth. Lyra could not look away. None of the survivors could. It felt like they were seeing something that should not exist anymore, something from old stories told before bedtime, something humans had forgotten long ago. Yet here he was, standing in front of them as if time had never touched him. Behind him, more warriors walked out of the mist. Not 1, not 10, hundreds. Their armor was dark silver, marked with stars, scars, and symbols from battles fought in distant galaxies. Each warrior carried a different weapon, massive energy blades, heavy cannons, strange glowing spears, shields that hummed with soft electric sounds. They did not walk like soldiers. They walked like legends who had returned. Home after centuries, the alien army reacted with fear. Their war machines moved backward. Their soldiers screamed orders. A group of alien destroyers landed in front of the warriors and aimed their weapons. The ground cracked under the weight of alien tanks locking on their targets, but the warriors did not stop. The leader raised his arm. A bright blue circle formed in front of him like a floating shield made of light. The alien destroyers fired together. A deadly wave of energy shot toward the humans. Lyra covered her ears. The survivors hid behind broken walls. The beam hit the blue shield. Silence followed. Then the beam disappeared as if swallowed. The warrior lowered his arm. The shield faded. He whispered one word. Advance. The last warriors charged on. It was like watching a storm made of steel and fire. They moved faster than any human Lyra had ever seen. Their steps were heavy but swift. Their eyes glowed behind their helmets. Their weapons cut through alien machines like paper. Every swing, every shot, every strike carried centuries of training and power. One warrior leaped forward and slammed his fist into an alien tank. The entire machine exploded in a ball of flame. Another warrior created a blue barrier that blocked incoming fire and then pushed it back toward the aliens. A wave of crackling energy swept across the battlefield, throwing alien soldiers into the air. The aliens tried to regroup. They sent flying drones to attack from above. The drones fired bright red lasers, but a warrior raised a spear that split into 3 glowing blades. With one swift motion, he threw it. The spear shot through the sky like lightning and destroyed the drones in a single burst of blue fire. Lyra watched with awe. She felt tears in her eyes, not from fear, but from something she never thought she would feel again. Pride. Humans were fighting back. And they were unstoppable. A young boy next to her whispered, "Are they really human?" The old man answered, in a shaking voice, "They are the ones who never died." In the bunker, Dr. Cade continued watching satellite feeds. Every camera showed the same impossible scene: alien forces running, hiding, retreating. Dr. Cade wiped his eyes and said these words with a broken voice. They were lost for hundreds of years. But they never stopped training, never stopped fighting, never stopped protecting us. A loud explosion shook the ground outside the train station. Lyra turned and saw the alien war commander arriving. A towering creature made of metal and flesh, 6 arms, red glowing eyes, and weapons attached to its body. It roared, its voice shaking buildings. The alien commander pointed at the last warriors and ordered its army to destroy them. The warriors slowed. They formed a line. Weapons rose. No fear. No hesitation. The commander charged out. The ground broke under its steps. Its screams vibrated through the air. It fired 4 massive beams of energy at once. The light turned everything white. When the light cleared, the leader of the last warriors stood untouched, holding a glowing shield that he had formed with his bare hand. He stepped forward. Slowly, each step filled with purpose. "You hurt our world," he said. "You killed our people. You thought humans were weak." His armor brightened. His weapon ignited in blue fire. "You were wrong." And then he attacked. The clash between the warrior and the alien commander shook the battlefield. Sparks flew. Buildings cracked. The ground split. The sky echoed with their blows. It was not a fight. It was a message to the universe. Humanity had returned, and humans do not die quietly. The battlefield shook like a living creature waking from a nightmare. Dust swirled through the broken city, mixing with sparks of blue and red energy. Lyra covered her mouth as the tremors grew stronger. Every sound was louder than the last. Every breath felt heavier. The world felt like it was holding its breath. At the center of the chaos, the leader of the last warriors clashed with the alien commander. Their strikes lit up the sky. Every blow sounded like thunder. Every movement sent shockwaves that cracked the ground. Lyra felt each impact in her bones. The old man beside her whispered that he had never seen such power, not even in old war. Videos around them. The rest of the last warriors fought like humanity's fury made real. One warrior swung a glowing blade that cut through 3 alien machines at once. Another warrior fired a cannon from his arm that sent a wave of energy rolling across the ground, destroying anything that wasn't human. Every strike was fast, sharp, and final. They did not waste a second. They did not leave a survivor. The alien army, once confident and unstoppable, now stumbled in confusion. Their formations broke. Their ships tried to escape. Their commanders shouted orders that no one followed. For the first time since the invasion began, the aliens felt something they had never felt before. Fear. Lyra watched 2 children run from, hiding and cling to her legs. She pulled them close as explosions shook the ground behind them. A warrior landed beside her, creating a protective energy barrier that shielded the survivors. The warrior didn't speak, but Lyra felt something strange, a warmth, a silent promise of safety. She looked up at the warrior's glowing helmet. She could not see a face, but she felt humanity behind that armor. Humanity that had not been broken, not by space, not by time, and not by war. In the bunker far underground, Dr. Cade and his team monitored the battle through shaky satellite feeds. The screens flickered, showing glimpses of the impossible. Warriors breaking alien lines. Human ships destroying fleets that once dominated the sky. Dr. Cade whispered that Earth's destiny was being rewritten in real time. Rin, the young technician, wiped tears from her face. She said her mother died during the first week of invasion. She had thought Earth would fall. But now she whispered, "We're not dying today. Not today." Back on the battlefield, the alien commander roared and struck the warrior leader with all its strength. The blow sent the warrior sliding across the ground, carving a deep trench in the earth. The commander charged again, its body glowing with dark red energy. Lyra screamed, thinking the warrior would fall, but he didn't. The leader rose slowly, armor cracked but glowing brighter than before. Blue light ran across his body like lightning. He lifted his weapon, and the air around him vibrated. The alien commander fired again, but the warrior cut through the blast with a single swing. The energy split apart, scattering into harmless sparks. He rushed forward. Their clash lit up the sky. Every strike made the world tremble. Every hit sent waves of energy rolling across the battlefield. Warriors and aliens alike paused just to watch the fight that would decide the future of Earth. Then it happened. One perfect opening. The warrior drove his blade deep into the alien commander's core. The red light inside the creature flickered. It roared, shaking every building in the city, then collapsed to its knees. The warrior pulled his blade free and stepped back. The alien commander fell to the ground, its massive body shaking the earth. The alien army saw their leader fall and broke completely. Some ran, some dropped their weapons. Some simply froze, waiting for their end. The last warriors did not chase them. They stood tall, silent, glowing like guardians made of light. Lyra stared at the leader with tears in her eyes. She did not know his name. She did not know where he came from. But she knew one thing clearly. He had saved them. He had saved Earth. The warrior turned toward the survivors. For the first time, he lifted his helmet. Lyra saw a human face, scarred, older, stronger, but unmistakably human. He spoke softly. "Earth is our home. We never forgot," the survivors cried. The sky cleared. The fires dimmed. For the first time since the invasion began. The future felt possible, but far away, beyond the horizon, something darker was waking, and the battle was only the beginning. The battlefield quieted, but the silence felt wrong. It was not peace. It was the kind of silence that comes before something terrible rises from the shadows. Lyra felt it in her chest. The last warriors felt it too. Even the ground under them seemed to hold its breath. The alien commander lay dead, its glowing red body slowly turning gray like cooling metal. The survivors looked at it with disbelief, as if killing such a monster should have ended the war. But the leader of the last warriors did not celebrate. He stood still, helmet in hand, eyes sharp, staring at the sky as if expecting something. Worse, the other warriors formed a defensive circle around the survivors. Their armor hummed with energy, ready, alert. One of them scanned the fallen alien commander and shook his head. He tapped a glowing device on his arm, showing strange symbols. They looked like warnings. Lyra stepped closer. "What's wrong?" The warrior looked down at her. Behind his mask, his voice sounded calm but heavy. This creature was not the leader. Before Lyra could understand, the earth started shaking again, harder than before. Buildings trembled. Broken walls collapsed. The survivors stumbled. The sky darkened with a deep red glow that spread like disease. Deep underground, in the bunker, alarms screamed. Dr. Cade ran to the main screen. Rin yelled that something massive had awakened under the earth, something that had been sleeping since the invasion began. A map appeared on screen. A red dot blinked beneath the city where Lyra stood. A gigantic one. Dr. Cade felt his blood run cold. He whispered the truth. The aliens didn't come to conquer us. They came to protect their weapon. Rin stared at the data. Weapon? But what kind of weapon needs a whole army to guard it? Dr. Cade turned pale. A planet killer. Back on the surface, the ground cracked open with a loud roar. Lava-like red energy burst upward. Lyra grabbed the children and ran behind the warriors. A massive structure began rising from beneath the earth. An alien device made of black metal and glowing red veins. It looked like a giant heart made of machines, pumping light into the sky. The leader of the last warriors stared at it with a heavy expression. "They built a core detonator," he said. "If it activates, Earth will explode." Lyra felt her knees weaken. "Can't you stop it?" "Yes," the leader answered. "But it will not be easy." The device kept growing, rising higher and higher like a tower built to touch the sky. Alien symbols glowed across its surface. The red light pulsed faster. Every pulse shook the ground. The aliens had not invaded to enslave or occupy. They invaded to erase Earth completely. Lyra looked at the last warriors. They stood tall, ready to fight again, but she could see the truth on their faces. Even they knew this weapon was beyond anything they had faced in centuries. One of the warriors stepped forward, holding a glowing sphere. "We can disable the core if we overload it with our energy," The leader nodded slowly. But if we do, many of us will not return. Not survive. Not live. Lyra's heart tightened. They had just come back. They had just given Earth hope, and now they were ready to die again. No, she whispered. There must be another way. But the leader shook his head. We were created to protect humanity. If Earth falls, the galaxy falls with it. He looked at his warriors. Prepare for the final charge. Warriors touched their weapons to their chests, armor glowing brighter. The energy inside them rumbled like storms ready to break free, but before they could move, the core detonator released a massive shockwave. The blast knocked cars into the air. It shattered windows across the entire city. Lyra fell to the ground. Warriors held their shields, struggling to stay upright. The red light at the top of the device flared, brighter than the sun. Dr. Cade screamed into the radio. It's powering up. You have minutes, maybe less. The leader of the last warriors gave a nod. Then we make them count. He stepped forward. His armor lit up with blue fire, but then something unexpected happened. The core detonator shifted. A new opening appeared on its side, and a strange shadow stepped out. It looked like an alien, but not like the ones they fought. This one was larger, heavily armored, glowing with the same red veins as the machine. Rin stared at the bunker screen. What is that thing? Dr. Cade's face twisted with horror. That is the true commander, he whispered. The one they hid, the one they woke, the one built to kill planets. The creature lifted its head. Its voice echoed like thunder mixed with metal. Humans, you are too late. The last warriors tightened their grip on their weapons. The real battle, the battle for Earth's soul, was about to begin. The true alien commander stood atop the rising core detonator like a dark god. Its body glowed with red energy pulsing through armored veins. Its eyes were two burning lights staring down at the shattered city. Every breath it took released waves of heat strong enough to melt the ground beneath it. The last warriors formed a line between the survivors and the weapon. Lyra held the children close, unable to look away. She felt small, weak, helpless, but she also felt something deeper. She felt the same fire in her heart that she saw in the eyes of the warriors. The leader of the last warriors stepped forward. His armor burned brighter than ever, blue lines cracking like lightning across metal. He pointed his blade at the towering alien commander. You wanted our world, he said. You will choke on its fury. The alien commander roared, shaking. Buildings across the ruins. Humans, you were supposed to die. The ground split open as the creature leaped down. It hit the earth with such force that cars flew into the air. The last warriors braced their shields. Dust and broken metal blasted everywhere. Then the final battle began. The alien commander swung an arm, filled with red energy. The blow hit the front line of warriors, sending 3 of them flying. The ground cracked under the force. But the warriors stood again, their armor glowing brighter with each hit. One warrior fired a long beam of blue energy. The alien commander caught it with its bare hand and crushed it like it was nothing. Another warrior jumped from behind, slicing through the creature's shoulder. Sparks exploded, but the monster barely turned. It was powerful, far more powerful than anything they had fought before. At the bunker, Dr. Cade watched every second through trembling fingers. They can't defeat it like this, he whispered. They need more energy. Rin shook her head. But they're already at full power, Dr. Cade whispered. No, not full power. They're holding back because they know the truth. Rin's voice cracked. They'll die if they overload themselves. Back on the battlefield, the real fight began. The leader charged the alien commander. Their clash created a shockwave strong enough to knock Lyra to the ground. She crawled behind a fallen wall, covering the children with her arms. Blue and red lights blasted across the sky like 2 suns colliding. The alien commander lifted the leader by the throat and slammed him into the ground. The warrior's armor cracked. Energy leaked out. Lyra screamed without thinking. The commander raised a massive claw to finish him, but a smaller warrior jumped between them. A silent one, a young one. He used his entire body as a shield. The strike hit him instead. His armor shattered. His energy core cracked. He fell. The leader crawled forward, touching the fallen warrior's helmet. "Rest, brother," he whispered. Other warriors roared, a deep ancient battle cry that shook the dead streets. Their armor brightened, blue flames running across their bodies. They gathered around their leader. He looked at the survivors. He looked at Lyra. She met his eyes. No fear, only faith. He nodded. Then he gave the order that sealed their fate. Overload cores. Every warrior placed their hand on their chest. Their armor dimmed, then ignited with blinding blue light. Their bodies hummed like living reactors. Lyra realized what they were doing. "No," she whispered, tears falling. "You just returned. Please don't die." But the warriors stood tall, standing between earth and destruction, doing what they were born for. The alien commander charged. So did the last warriors. The collision exploded into a pillar of blue and red fire. The shockwave erased alien machines. In a single flash, the core detonator shook violently as warriors poured their energy into it, forcing its red veins to dim. The alien commander screamed as its armor cracked. Blue energy burned through its body. It swung wildly, destroying buildings. But the warriors held it down. Their leader plunged his burning blade into its chest. The creature roared one last time. Then it fell. The core detonator blinked. Red, then blue. It powered down. The last warrior stood in silence, energy crackling around their broken armor. One by one, their lights dimmed. They fell to their knees. The leader turned toward the survivors, helmet cracked, face bleeding, but eyes alive. He whispered, voice fading, "Is safe." Then he collapsed. A long silence followed. But it was not fear. It was respect. The survivors cried. Some knelt, some reached out. Lyra placed her hand on the leader's armor with shaking fingers. "You saved us," she whispered. "We will never forget." In the sky, more human ships descended, hundreds. The lost battalions were not finished. They were coming home. Earth was not alone anymore, and the universe would never underestimate humans again.